Biden administration plans to issue an executive order on cybersecurity standards, and Dell announces a 12-year-old vulnerability affecting millions of computers, and more on this week's episode of Bear Security. Welcome to Bear Security, a weekly quick take on topics affecting our businesses, clients, careers, and communities in cybersecurity. I'm Chris Cly, and here are the stories for the week of May 8, 2021. Our top story this week comes from Washington, D.C. NPR is reporting that the Biden administration is putting the final touches on an executive order intended to help the U.S. defend itself against cybersecurity attacks, such as the one leveled against SolarWinds late last year. The executive order is intended to help modernize cybersecurity, reduce risk, and require notification of breaches and attacks. The order also seeks to make something similar to the National Transportation Safety Board, or the NTSB, but for cybersecurity incidents, which would help piece together and investigate attacks so we can learn from and build our defenses. The executive order is still in the works, so things may still be added or removed. If one thing is for sure, we collectively have a lot of work to do to improve security at all levels of our society. And if you happen to manage or oversee a security program, I would encourage your engineers and analysts to not only share threat information, but also be part of the greater information security community. Dell has announced a vulnerability in their client platform software that could affect millions of computers that has gone undetected since 2009. An advisory published by Dell on Tuesday advises that the dbutil23.sys driver, which often comes pre-installed or can remain after a firmware update, contains insufficient access control vulnerabilities, which can lead to escalation of privilege, denial of service, or even information disclosure. Dell reports the driver file was used in firmware update tools, including Dell Command Update, Dell Update, Alienware Update, Dell System Inventory Agent, or Dell Platform Tags. Dell has provided a patched version which can be installed, though it may be best that unless you need these tools on your system, to ultimately uninstall them. With the rise in supply chain attacks in recent years, it was only a matter of time before something like this had come along, and tools like this should only be used for their intended purpose and then uninstalled. A good practice for businesses would be to clean wipe any system received from an OEM and only install what is necessary to lessen the overall attack surface. SC Magazine reported on Monday that PulseSecure released a patch for several vulnerabilities, including critical zero-day that hackers have been using to access the networks of U.S. defense contractors and at least 5 government agencies. The vulnerability was disclosed last week, but it had already been actively exploited at the time it was disclosed. PulseSecure has been working closely with the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, FireEye, as well as Stroh's Friedberg, to investigate and respond quickly to the identified malicious activity. Given that the vulnerability has been actively exploited prior to disclosure, breach should be assumed, and investigation should be conducted to ensure your network has not been breached. Customers are also encouraged to use the Pulse Connect Secure Integrity tool to check for evidence of malicious activity on their devices. Leaping Computer is reporting that Cisco has fixed critical vulnerabilities in the SD-WAN, vManage, and HyperFlex HX software. These vulnerabilities allow a malicious actor to create rogue admin accounts and execute commands with root privileges. In addition to these critical vulnerabilities, Cisco has also released updates to address high and medium severity vulnerabilities in their Cisco Small Business 100, 300, and 500 series wireless access points, and the SD-WAN vEdge software, which also allow for remote arbitrary code execution, privilege escalation, trigger denial of service conditions, and more. Cisco's Product Security Incident Response team said they are not currently aware of any active exploitation of these vulnerabilities in the wild. In addition to these vulnerabilities, Cisco also reported 2 vulnerabilities that allow command injection and denial of service against their Adaptive Security Appliances software, or ASA, and Firepower Threat Defense software. Patches are available with no workarounds. If you were hoping you could take a break from updating your Apple devices, you may have to put that off another week. The Verge is reporting that Apple has released a series of updates for Apple iOS, iPadOS, Mac OS, and Watch OS that address critical vulnerabilities that allow a malicious actor to gain full control of your device. These fixes are an extension of the first round back in February, which also addressed the same component, WebKit. WebKit is Apple's framework that renders most of the web content you see on your device. Even if you use a third-party browser, it is still a good idea to get these updates installed, since WebKit is a standard framework available to applications within the Apple ecosystem, and any application may use it for accessing the web. If you're using Android and we're hoping that you're excluded, you've got updates too. Android users also have an important security update of their own. Google's latest security bulletin outlines over 40 vulnerability updates in the May 2021 security patch, which was released on Wednesday. The most severe of these vulnerabilities could allow remote code execution on your device. Though, to accomplish that, it must be done within the context of an existing application that has been given full rights to your device. The fixes include ones for the media framework, the Android kernel, and addresses ones in Logic, ARM, MediaTek, Unisoc, and Qualcomm components. Android users are often at the mercy of their mobile carriers to receive patches, so it may be a few days or even weeks before you see the security patch available for your device. In the meantime, you can protect yourself by only downloading applications from trusted vendors in the Google Play Store or the App Store that you trust. Avoid visiting any untrusted websites or links from untrusted resources, and limit the privileges that you give any applications. TechCrunch is reporting that DigitalOcean customers received an email on April 26th that it has confirmed an unauthorized exposure of details associated with the billing profile on some customers' accounts. The company said access happened during a 2-week window between April 9th and 22nd, and has since fixed the flaw. Information accessed included customer names, addresses, last 4 digits of their payment card, expiry date, and the name of the card issuing bank. DigitalOcean has so far not disclosed what the flaw was, how it was discovered, and which authorities have actually been informed, but they claim only 1% of their accounts were affected. Lastly, if you deal in the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, known as HIPAA, the National Institute of Science and Technology wants to hear from you. HealthITSecurity.com is reporting that NIST recently announced plans to update its guidance for implementing the HIPAA security rule, and they are looking for comment from industry stakeholders on the proposed changes, including insight into real-world application of the rule. The guidance was last updated back in 2008. Comments are being accepted through June 15, 2021, and you can find links to it in the description. That is all for this week's episode of Bear Security. Thanks for tuning in. As always, links for everything mentioned can be found in the description. Come back every Saturday, or visit our website, syntaxbearer.io, for other formats that are available. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments or would like to see us cover something, let us know. This is Chris Cly signing off. Stay safe out there, friends.